Hey everyone, happy Saturday. I just wanted to hop on, even though it's not even the morning anymore, to make the fourth episode of Cup of Coffee. I don't have a cup of coffee, and that's fine. I don't give a fuck. I actually just wanted to spend time today talking about how to market yourself if you're trying to get your first dev job. So, I'm going to touch on a few things. I'm going to touch on websites. I'm going to take you on a journey about whether or not you should make one, what should be in it. We're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about resumes. We're going to talk about personal projects. And yeah, I think that should do it for this. I just want to give a high level overview of stuff for anybody who is not yet familiar with all the things that you can do to stand out when you're self-taught, when you're just getting started trying to get your first developer job. So let's dive in. First place I want to touch on is social media, just because that is the thing most people are going to be familiar with. So, do you have a Twitter account? Do you have a LinkedIn? Do you have anything? I don't know. YouTube is good. I'm actually starting to try out YouTube. Mostly what I'm finding is that it makes me feel more comfortable talking on camera to an imaginary audience, I suppose. This has always been something that's been difficult for me, but this does have crossover into the job search. A lot of job interviews are conducted over tools like Zoom and Microsoft Teams these days. So getting comfortable with being on a camera and talking to somebody is something that you're going to want to do because frankly, I don't know about you, but a lot of the jobs that I would traditionally look for would be remote jobs, and those jobs are not going to have you fly in usually for an interview. And even if you look somewhere local, they're probably going to use meetings over like a tool like Zoom in order to conduct daily business during the workday. So get used to it. Get good at being on camera. I probably spent a little too much time talking about that now that I think of it. But yeah, YouTube. If you're gonna do YouTube, generate content that is relevant to your profession. If you're trying to go and be a back-end developer, maybe talk about some projects you're building. Maybe talk about how someone would go and learn back-end development, etc. But for other social media, aside from YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, I use Twitter a lot for things like 100 Days of Code and connecting with the self-taught developer community, because a lot of people are on there showing their progress on projects they're building or sharing tips on how to succeed in tech. It's a great platform. I know we have LinkedIn, and that traditionally that's where people go to network with people, but specifically for the tech industry, you're going to want a Twitter account because there's a lot of cool people you can meet on there that are building really amazing things, and you can get to know them pretty easily. LinkedIn though is top priority. That's kind of the bread and butter of your job hunt. You don't want to have a LinkedIn that has nothing on it or that has outdated information. There's a lot of resources on this. I'm not going to try to be the expert here, but for example, go check out Danny Thompson's LinkedIn series. He interviews a bunch of hiring managers, and they talk about what stands out as good and what stands out as really bad on people's LinkedIns when hiring managers are going through resumes. So aside from just having an up-to-date profile, talk about things related to your job. Try to maybe post some opinions if you want to. Usually I stray away from trying to use it as a podium to go on soapboxes, because that's kind of what Facebook was for, and people aren't going to take you as seriously if that's all you're doing. But honestly, the thing that I would recommend the most is just try to spread good vibes, celebrate other people's successes. This is how you network on there, in my opinion. You want to go raise the vibe of any post, thread, or whatever. Just try to make people feel more confident in themselves, give people advice based on what worked for you, but I wouldn't probably use it as a platform to spout off opinions about like tech politics or whatever, because that can be a red flag for some hiring managers, that you're not really, open to new ideas, or that you waste your time on social media doing things that don't really help other people. So that's the last thing you want to communicate. I assume you all want to help people. You're going into tech, sure, for the money, but because of all the chances you can get to network with like-minded people and build cool stuff that helps people. That's kind of why I got into it, aside from the money. But yeah, okay, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, okay. I guess one thing I'd just say is I don't think you should have like all your social media be entirely about your job. So if you want to keep Instagram to yourself, go for it. Like, I haven't played with Instagram yet. I'm still just on YouTube, and even with YouTube, I don't think this channel is going to be entirely about job stuff. Like, I like to have fun too, so I might post a video here and there about things that I just do in my spare time, just to keep it light and fun. But for these, like, I kind of just like to keep these somewhat unstructured, so that people don't have to like lock in. They can just kind of play this in the background if they want to while they're doing something else like working out. But anywho, yeah, like, just be intentional no matter how you choose to use your social media as part of your job hunt. Like, just be intentional about it, know what you're doing with it, so that you don't have to feel like neurotic about it. If you're using it mainly for work, then just use it for work. Don't post BS stuff on there. If you're using it just for you, then only post that stuff. Don't feel like you have to post work stuff on every single social media platform if you don't want to. All right, that's enough on that. So I think we've covered social media. I guess the last thing I'd say about it is, don't just be a consumer of the content, and don't just like mindlessly create content. Like, interact with the people on these platforms. Like, meet people, talk to people on the content that they post, interact with the people when they comment on your stuff. It's simple. Like, just yeah, networking. It's powerful. So that's social media. Websites. If you don't have a website, just get a website. Just get a website. Like, it's one of these things that whenever I tell people, oh, I have a website and I think websites are important for the job search, people who have one are happy to show me theirs. Like, they're like, oh, you want to see mine? And I love that, because I love seeing what other people choose for their their homepage designs and like what stuff they include on their website. A website is basically a repository for all of the information you want to tell the world about yourself in one place. It's so much better than trying to do that with a social media account, because frankly, I don't really think that's what social media is for. I think social media is for you to tell people just enough to give them like a general idea about you, and then the rest of it is just like interacting with people. And I think that they're built for that, and you shouldn't want to build this whole like trophy case and like have this long novel on your social media. Like, let that be on a personal blog or a personal website where you can do long form content about yourself, just giving a big bio, like a background about you. Maybe you can talk about your hobbies. Maybe you can show videos of your hobbies on your website. Maybe you can link out to your personal projects. Maybe you can set up a little shop on your website to sell some products that you made that you want to sell people for like $10 or whatever, or give away for free. Or I mean, the thing is with websites, the sky's the limit. You can literally put whatever you want on there without limitation. And I think that goes even more so if you're building it from scratch. And if you're trying to get a developer job, I honestly recommend building a website from scratch, even if it's not really your forte, because you're going to want to show that you have enough interest in this career path that you're willing to invest some time in building a portfolio and like a place where employers can decide what they think about you, versus just having what everybody else has, which is a social media account, because that's easy. You just like give them an email and password and sign up, and that's it. So I just think it's more impressive and it helps you stand out. Is it absolutely necessary? Fuck no, of course not. But why would you want to risk it? You know, that's kind of where I come from. Why would you want to risk not getting the job just because you thought, oh, I'm too good for that thing? What I was saying earlier is whenever I show people a website, they just decide either that they are the kind of person who makes a website, or like, I'm not the kind of person who needs that. And it's like, literally anybody in this world today can benefit from having a personal website that can like help them build their own personal brand apart from all the branding that is on these social media websites. So that's my little soapbox for that. Like, do with that what you will. If you don't want to go build your website from scratch, at least use Squarespace or some website builder like WordPress that can help you make it faster. And you know, you won't get all the options that you'd get if you just made it from scratch, but some people don't really want to go through the trouble, or they're more back-end focused and they really hate the front end, and I get it, but just make a fucking website. Like, it's not the end of the world, and it'll teach you a little bit about website hosting and DNS settings and getting your own domain in the process. So like there's some valuable knowledge there if you're a developer trying to get a job. That's websites. I guess with regard to my personal website, what I do is I have like an about section where I talk about me. I have a section where I list important certifications and my education background so that people can see what I've studied with tangible evidence. And then I have a project section that shows what I've built and links out to the live version if it's like a web app, or the repository in GitHub. So like I just make it really easy for people to find me and learn more about what I've built and what I'm doing. So and then I have a link to my blog as well, which is on hashnode.com, which I love for a developer blogging platform. It feels very developer friendly, so I recommend checking that out if you haven't yet. I guess we can go into quick talking about what projects to build. I probably wouldn't post any projects you built that were based on a tutorial or that you've seen a million different versions of, like a to-do app or a calculator or whatever. I'd probably, like, once you get comfortable enough to build an application or a website, I want to see you go build something that you care about. What problems are you facing in your life? What problems have you seen other people facing? For example, there's this thing I'm working on that probably nobody's going to use, but I think it would be nice to have, and I wish I had it when I worked there as a cashier. But at a grocery store, cashiers have to learn like price lookup codes for produce. If they can't scan the barcode on a piece of fruit or a vegetable, they have to know the code for that so they can type it into the cash register in order to ring up the price for a customer. So right now, the best way people learn that is through like flashcard apps like Quizlet, but I thought it would be cool if it would like teach me a lot about like full stack web application development, which I know not that much about. If I went and actually built a game that people could play, that would be better than flashcards, kind of like the Duolingo. So like the Duolingo app solved the language learning flashcards problem. I think it would be cool if he could solve this one too, even though like, I don't know, I don't think anyone would use it, to be honest, except me. But what you could learn through doing that is you could learn about user authentication. You could learn about I guess I'm using Firebase. You could learn about how to build a Firebase app, what it looks like to retrieve data from a Firebase app. And then, just whatever. You can pick a new JavaScript framework or a new styling library, that's the thing. Like, there's two things you want to do when you're building a project. It has to solve a problem that you care about, and it has to teach you some technology that's valuable in the marketplace. Or if it's not teaching you that, it's using it. So React is a major framework for front-end developers right now. Go make a React app. Or maybe one of the newer ones like Svelte or Next.js or whatever. But don't just make another to-do app. Nobody's impressed by that. And then once you've actually built whatever it is you're building, put it on, make sure it's stored in GitHub. Show that you used Git, Git is non-negotiable these days. I know that there's the GUI tools that make it so you don't have to write Git in the terminal, but please just don't do that. Don't rely on that, because there will come a time when you're on a team where nobody's really using that. Or, the downside to Git GUI tools is that they don't always work the way you expect them to. And frankly, most of the commands you need are easy enough to write on the command line or the terminal that, I don't know, just do what you want, I guess. But regardless of whether you use GUI tools or the terminal, store your code in GitHub so it's public. Don't set your repos to private. Keep them available for people who want to go look at your stuff, and then link out to your GitHub from your personal website and your social media. So you're eventually just going to be creating this spider web of all these different resources to kind of funnel your audience around into the other platforms that you're creating content on. So, I have a Twitter, a YouTube, kind of a Facebook. I'm not proud of the Facebook. Facebook, GitHub. I've got a Polywork, website, blog, LinkedIn, and I might have covered some of those already, but anywho, I got a resume too, which I guess I can go over real quick as well, but I link out to my resume from my personal website, and I've even made it in the past where you can download my resume from my website as a PDF by just clicking a link. So, this is the kind of stuff that's possible, guys. Just get creative about this. Don't just do what you do for every other industry. If you're trying to search for a job, don't just make a, boring ass typical resume. Don't make it and then send it into 700 companies and hope for a bite back without anything other than an email and a phone number. Don't do that. There are so many tools at your disposal that you're not using if you just do that. As far as what to put on your resume, you're going to want every job on there that's relevant to the position you're applying for. And under each job, we always have those bullet points, but people get them wrong a lot of the time. A lot of people are just putting their responsibilities. What did my boss ask me to do here? That's not enough. You have to think about what impact you were having there and quantify it and make it sound sometimes you dress it up a little bit so that it's, attractive. And I'm not saying to lie, but let's say you are a cashier and you need to, sell that customer service. You could start counting the average number of customers that you get per hour and then per day, kind of just ballpark it, and then say something helps 500 customers a week with excellent customer service skills, or track the sometimes stores have a net promoter score, an NPS score, and that determines the customer service rating for that store for the week or for the day. And you can go and track that as well so that you can report on it in your resume. So if you don't have a number attached to every bullet point, then you're missing something. Or if you don't have a project that you can talk about, then you're missing something. Like you need to be approaching all these jobs like you're on a merit badge hunt, and you have to figure out, okay, what does my boss need? What does my boss really want? What are my coworkers like hurting for? What is going to make an impact on the customers' lives here? And how can I build that? And how can I quantify it so that I can talk about it later when I want to leave this place? Because I don't know about you, but I'm not someone who wants to spend like 10 to 20 years at every company I work at. I mean, maybe there will be an exception someday. It might even be the one I work for now. I don't know, because it's pretty awesome. But what I've found is that eventually we all get bored. And I mean, some companies are really good at keeping you busy. Like my last company I stayed at for 3 years because I just kept finding new things to work on. But not all companies are going to make you want to stick around that long. And, you know, then you'll find out you can get paid more somewhere else and you're going to want to go look. And so when that time comes, you don't want to have to be hustling to find something to put on your resume. You want to already have been doing that the entire time. So treat every job that you work at as a playground. You're trying to like find the toys hidden in the sandbox so that you can show them off to whoever you're trying to get a job from, I guess. So those bullet points are important. Definitely do more research on that. There's a lot of information out there. I'm not the only one talking about this, for sure. I'd actually recommend, if you want to have like a kick-ass LinkedIn or resume, like go places like Danny Thompson's YouTube series on LinkedIn profile optimization, or I'm sure I think he talks about some. Honestly, a lot of the stuff that they talk about with bullet points on the job, like the job history on LinkedIn, transfers directly to building a good resume. So whatever you do for resumes, do it on LinkedIn. Whatever you do on LinkedIn, do it for resumes. And then aside from the bullet points and having relevant job experience where you can, list as much education as you can if you're really weak in the job experience area, and then link out to your LinkedIn profile, link out to your GitHub, and then I guess if anywhere in the bullet points you're talking about a certain project, link out to the project repo, because why not? Like, most of these people are going to be looking at your resume on a computer, which means they can view this as a PDF and click the link and immediately see the value you could bring to their company. So yeah. So that was a lot. We're at 22 minutes now. In order to sum all this up, I think I just want to say that marketing yourself as a self-taught developer or someone just out of college trying to get their first developer job, it is 100% about making yourself as visible and valuable as possible. So that's going to come from having a strong digital presence, like everything we talked about here. But it's also going to come from having social skills and enough confidence to go out and meet people online, of course, but also in person at conferences or internally at the company while you're working there, or at the job you're at now. Just building that core confidence so that you can go and interact with people who could potentially help you out in your career, or if nothing else, be great friends and allies on your journey. You don't want to go it alone. You don't want to be the only person who cares about your success, because that can be really, really hard, and you're probably going to burn out if you're the only one who is in your corner. So when life gets hard, it's good to have friends. It's good to have people who care about you, and hopefully you care about them too. Yeah, marketing, self-marketing, brand building, social skills, communication, these are all important things. And I wish you the best of luck on your job search. Good luck building your brand. brand building is important. Don't let anybody tell you different. It is like the future of work is going to be very individual. It's going to matter that you're different from the next person by that 1% thing that makes you different. So, yeah. Go out there and, see what you can build, see what you can create, and see how many people you can meet as a result of building your presence like this. So, otherwise, have a great Saturday. I don't know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow on Sunday, but I promised I'd have a video every day this week before I stop this whole segment. It was kind of a fun experiment. Thanks for sticking with me. If you did watch it, so far I've seen like 1 view on every video, so maybe this was just a fun experiment for me to see how long I could talk to a camera. But yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, like and subscribe.